Hi there, Kerry from the Soap Coach here, and we are giving an update on weeks 3/4 of the Dog and I Revamp Diaries. I say week 3/4 because I kind of missed some of last week, so I'm going to condense it all into one episode this week. Quite a lot going on behind the scenes again, as there always is with me. So quick recap. The first couple of weeks with the revamp, I'd settled on my niche. We're looking at dog products still, obviously, but adding on some human products for outdoorsy type people, walkers, ramblers, dog owners, all of those kind of people that like to be out in the elements. But with the onus being on making sure you're looking after yourself, not compromising, and products that are really, really easy to use. So I've settled on that, settled on my mission, vision, values, settled on my product range, kind of, and also did some admin around my trademark, looked at my insurance, I'll come on to that in a moment, and also started the move across to making dog products with cold process rather than hot process. So I'd also applied for my assessments for my human range, which was going back a couple of weeks now. Had those back, which is brilliant. There's one addition that I'm still waiting on, which is to add neroli to my soap range. So I'm just chased up on that, but I know it won't be a problem. It's just administrative. So that's outstanding. Insurance. I emailed my insurance company asking if I could add human products on. Now, I'm with Simply Business, or I was with Simply Business, because at the time when I first started, I couldn't find a company that would insure me for the dog products. However, they emailed me back saying, could I phone them because they needed to discuss my requirements, and they won't insure me for human products, which is crazy because the human products are assessed. It's a lot more structured format which we follow. So that left me with a bit of a dilemma, but because I'm doing slightly different products to what I was doing when I first started the Dog and I now fall into Ian Wallace. So I am with Ian Wallace now from the end of the month. That's all sorted. And I've got no issues there whatsoever. So insurance sorted, phew. My next job, which I've done, I did the week before last actually, was made my first batch of human soaps because, as you probably know, they take at least 4 weeks to cure. So I really wanted to get those made before I did anything else. So I had to settle fairly quickly on my range, and I've decided I'm just going to come up with 4 core soaps to begin with because I feel that less is more. And I have ended up with, I'll show you what I've done. Again, I didn't want to go for micas or bright colours because it just doesn't suit the range that I'm looking to make. So I have gone for this one here, which is patchouli and cedar woods. It's quite earthy. Probably going to call that earth for that very reason. This one is neroli and orange, which is coloured with annatto, which is really lovely. And I haven't thought of a name for that yet, working on it. This one is quite a complex blend. It is a mixture of a tiny bit of geranium, lavender, a bit of tea tree and cedarwood. It's quite a young, I don't know, if you like woody and earthy, you're going to love it. It's going to probably be a Marmite one, this one, but like everything, until you try it, you don't know. It's also got some kelp powder in there, and I'm going to call that one Coast. And the final one is one of my old range that I've always done, which is my spearmint, tea tree and eucalyptus. Now this is a particularly fancy design at the moment because I use it as a demo in one of my classes, but all of them I've had in mind that I can change the design at any point if I want to. So I've done the distinct colours. That one slightly less so, but I can tweak it and make it more colourful. So that's my range of 4. And then my other products, I can also bring in similar fragrances and have ranges within each type. So my Coast one, I can have different products in each of those scents. It will all become clear. So I've done that. That's done. They're curing still. My next step is packaging. Now, packaging is always a nightmare. I really struggle with it, and I think most of us do. So with the body butters, shampoo bars, etc., they will all be, I decided to go for the metal tins, following on from the market research that I did, with refills available without tins as well, where relevant. Obviously not for body butter, because that won't work. So I was going to go for Tinware Direct to do really nice black tins. However, from COVID, I became very aware that you can have supply issues from time to time, particularly in difficult periods like COVID, like Brexit. And we just don't know when things like that might happen. I mean, obviously the Ukraine war is having an impact on some supplies at the moment as well. So for that reason, although it's not really what I wanted, I need to keep my options open for the future in case there's an issue with supply. So I'm sticking with the silver tins and not going with the black tins. That's the decision-making process behind that. When it comes to my soap packaging, now, at the moment, for my dog soaps, I've got little tags that I have printed for me, which have got the basics of the information on. I want to just bring them in line a bit more with what the soap packaging, my human soaps will be, but I haven't decided yet whether to go for belly bands, whether to go for paper wraps, or whether to go for boxes. In an ideal world, I'd really like to go for boxes, but they're not cheap, not unless you buy in bulk. However, I've been looking at a printer who can do quite small quantities in your own print and multiple types within a print. And if it all works out, I'll tell you who they are. So I've ordered samples of all of those things from them, belly bands, wraps and boxes. And I will make a decision around that once I have those through. I know lots of people print their own labels or make their own belly bands. I have been making my own belly bands for some of my soaps. But for me, I have always weighed up the difference between the time it takes me to do all of that versus the cost of buying it in. So yes, it's more expensive to buy them in, but if I'm spending 3 or 4 hours designing and printing labels and cutting belly bands, then the cost of that is an hourly rate to me. So I kind of weigh it up in that respect, but I know that you can't always do that when you're first starting out. It's something that I factored into my costs from day dot, and I do use a local printer to do all my work for me. But we'll wait and see what happens on that. So on that note, my printer is also my kind of designer as well. And very conveniently, they live just around the corner from me. So this week I've been to visit them, and we've been looking at logos and my just general designs. So I did touch on it in the last video. My logo at the moment is this kind of lady walking a dog, but she's in heels, and it doesn't really go with the vibe that I'm looking to promote. So he's tweaking that for me, and the new logo is going to be more of a walking type person, still with a ponytail, but more fitting, shall we say, than the one that I've got at the moment. So as we speak, in the next couple of days, he sent me the proofs of the new logo, and I'm hoping that they'll be dropping it into some of my existing dog designs, and they will be tweaked slightly as well. We're changing some of the font because it's quite old-fashioned, some of this. I'm not very keen on it. Whilst we're doing a bit of a rebrand, it's the perfect opportunity just to put that little bit of extra work in and get it all done at once. So once that's done, I'm going to ask them to print a couple of all my dog labels out for me, and then I can get some products sent up to Kerry from Fur and Fables, who's doing the photography for me. She could start looking at getting some imagery done for the dog products for me. So that's all in hand as well. The only thing I need to do to finalise that is decide on my... So this is where it takes longer than you think it will, because I need to finalise the soap packaging for my dog soaps before I can send those up to Kerry. And obviously, Dave can't do that because I'm waiting for these belly bands and other boxes, etc., before I can finalise my packaging. So long story short, it's not moving as quickly as I would have liked, but we are moving in the right direction, so we will get there. So that has been it really for the last week or so, which is plenty, because obviously bear in mind, like most of you, you've either got another job alongside, or for me, I'm running my soap coach business, and that takes up a lot of my time as well as continuing with the Dog and I orders alongside. So lots of juggling going on, but I am getting there slowly. My next task is going to be to start deciding for definite what additional products I'm going to be making for humans and beginning to make a small stock of each of those. So that's on my radar. And in between, if I get a spare 5 minutes, which I probably won't, but I can start looking at things like descriptions for each of them for the website. But we'll see how we go. Sometimes it's easier just to do all that in one go at the end when you've got your head straight and you're in the right zone for it. So that's weeks 3/4. Any questions around that, give me a shout. This is the point where I feel it's quite slow progress because I haven't got anything tangible to show for what I'm doing. But I know it's all steps that we have to do, and I'm obviously doing it in an order that is logical. So yeah, there's method in the madness. Anyway, I hope that's been useful for you. Give me a shout if you've got any questions around that at all.